Hi there. So prior to storms, I usually see some posts on Facebook about how to tie up best, so I figured I'd give a few pointers for the next time. So every dock and boat configuration is a little bit different, so you really just have to use your best judgment. For this setup, I'll show you what I did. So in this situation, for the last nor'easter, this waves and wind weren't a huge concern here because this is a pretty well protected area, and this boat is facing north, so wind was coming off the land. So while you want to consider it, the main concern here is the tides. So you have to assume that the tides were going to come up right to the level of this, the top of this dock here. So what you want to do is anticipate the lines, the boat rising up pretty high, bottom of the boat level with the dock, because the tide's going to be real high. And these lines here, right, have to have enough slack, right, be tight enough to keep it in place, but have enough slack to come up to about here. So you see here the slack that was left in the lines. So let's hop on board and look at the rest. Now what you don't want to do even for a typical tide is tie from the poles straight to these cleats back here, because that's not a whole lot of distance. So with the tide, that's going to be less forgiving, and you're going to be pulling quite a bit on the lines. But especially for a big swing, tide swing with storm surge, best bet is to cross the lines here. So what I did here is I raised the lines up on the poles a little bit higher and crossed them to the opposite cleats, because you figure if the boat's going to be probably the top of the boat's going to be probably about up to here. If you have those too low on the poles, it's going to be coming over the top side and pulling down. So raising them up a bit and allowing some forgiveness for the rising tide is the best bet here. And then spring lines. You don't have a huge distance between the pole and the cleats, but enough. Leave a little bit of slack so you can allow it to, come up and down with ease. Same thing on the other side, right? Make sure you have good spring lines. See, there's a little slack there, and as the boat comes up and down, having that length will have some forgiveness there. So really, you want to, like I said, you want to time tight enough to keep them from hitting into things, but keep the lines as long as you can, given the setup. Of course, if you have a floating dock, that's a little different. You don't really need to worry about the tide too much with the dock, but you do for the pilings that you're tied to, because those aren't going to move. The dock will. Also, you want to make sure that the lines are appropriately sized for the boat. So you can see here, you don't have the right thickness. You don't want to be snapping any lines, right? 1/4-inch line for a big 32-foot boat probably isn't the best idea. Thanks for watching.